How we brewing, people? Welcome to the first Brews at 10 of the week. Here on my left eye, I'm your host Lefty. A very warm welcome to you all this evening. You're very lucky, people. I just about made it onto the stream tonight. I've been working away on some new content, which came out shortly before the stream. Please do take a look. And I've been finishing off getting the stream together. But just made it in time. Anyway, it's great to see we've got Hedy, Nina Sadie and Emma Richardson in the chat already. Like a flash with a bang. Really good to see you. Hope you're well. Let me know how you're brewing in the chats. Please hit thumbs up as well while you're at it and give us a share across your social media. Do appreciate that, people. Quick update first for anybody who's still catching up on streams. Yesterday's Sunday live stream, I've had to trim out 2 sections from that. One because of a technical problem with the mic again. It's a confounded thing. Got to, I need left eyes in the back of my head with this broadcasting software. But there was also a copyright issue with one of the comedy clips that I used as well, the Saturday Night Live. Didn't get away with that one. It has happened before. Tried a bit of something. But no, that didn't work. So, yeah, had to cut out a couple of bits, but hope you're all catching up nicely with those. There's also a new members only video out. I can see some members in the chat, of course. Please give that a watch if you've not already done so. Part 2 of my JSO journey. And that did take some putting together for a couple of days, I've got to say. So please do catch up on the content. Yeah, speaking of content, as I said, I've been quite busy getting stuff out to you as well, but also preparing some new features. And I gave a bit of a teaser as to what that was on yesterday's live stream. Today is going to be the official launch though, and I'll bring that up in a couple of short moments. But it's something that you can get involved with as well, something that's interactive and hopefully it's going to be tea-based fun. Okay. So I've thrown a few bits and pieces together, carrying on with a few stories from yesterday as well. Trump's threatening China with tariffs. You've got this ongoing situation in Birmingham here in the UK. Just to be very clear for international viewers, that's not Birmingham in Alabama. No, but there's been a strike by the bin workers, of course. That's going on in disputes with the union, which is the Unite Union. I'll touch on the subject of that video I just released earlier as well a bit, in the batshit crazy world of Trump and Musk. Yeah, legalised comedy, is it, Elon? Legalise comedy, criminalise parody. That's his mantra. That's his mantra now, isn't it? Flow Snake, how are you flowing tonight? Hope you're brewing well. Yeah, and you're also pointing out there are a few people have said lately the notifications have been a bit sloppy. Really, I do genuinely not like having to gripe about YouTube. It's the only thing that I broadcast on at the moment. So I'm only available on YouTube, so I do appreciate it as a platform, of course, and I'm very fortunate to be a monetised channel and such, but there are a few glitches here and there. And I have tried to make avenues with letting it be known and trying to register these problems with them, but yeah, not be getting too far, unfortunately. They do simply say, oh well, the individual that's having the problem. For example, Flowsnake, if I went to them now and said a member, subscriber and member on my channel is having problems with notifications, they'll say, oh well, the individual will have to contact the Google Help Centre themselves. Sorry, love. Next. Yeah, something like that. Sanctions satire. That'll be the next one, Clive. Good to see you as well, as always. Legalised comedy, criminalised parody, sanctions satire. That's maybe the holy trinity, the trifecta there. For those who are dumb enough to pray at the altar of Musk. Muskism. He probably does look at himself in the mirror every morning and say, you're bigger than Catholicism, man. And he says all these other dumb things. But that reminds me, please do fill out the poll. We've also got a poll up in the chat. Interested to know your thoughts on this one. I saw a little bit of a debate about it just earlier, fleetingly, whilst it was on social media. So that got me thinking, yeah, potentially given the global financial meltdown, especially Trump's biggest asset is Tesla stock in freefall, is there now a distinct possibility that the man could get into so much, these companies get into so much debt that he's actually bankrupted by 2030? So it's either a straight up yes, he'll either be on zero or negative millions, billions, whatever, bankrupt, or that he'll still be a billionaire, whether it's with less or more billions than he has on paper at the moment. Or will he still be wealthy but be downgraded to, you know, spare a thought for him, he might only have some millions left. Or even hundreds of them. Where's the producer? I need the big tissues. Get the big tissues. I told you, I always need the big tissues when I'm talking about the billionaires. Find out who's responsible and have them sacked immediately. Poor guy. Oh. Seriously though, I did go into that video, I did go into a little bit about, you know, the whole so-called cancel culture, the so-called war on woke and all of these things. Because in the clips I refer to, where he's talking about the left making comedy illegal, that really does stir up a political confrontation as well. So me being me, had to give some resistance of some sort. And we've got, I'm going for this in one go again, Stutes KH Viking Bear President. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Stutka? Stutka? There's two options there. Let me know which one was closest to the pronunciation there. But great to see you. And another member that is joining us, so let's say thank you to all the members on the channel. And there you are, you're actually on page 1. I think we've got 100% members in the chat at the moment. This is quality chatting. Great to be chilling with so many members of the Brew crew. Thanks for those of you who have renewed as well, and gifted to others. We're getting ever closer to that target of 100. We got up to 91 on last night's stream. I'll be bringing the goal up again shortly. Fortunately, a few people must have been this morning or late hours of last night, whatever, didn't renew, so we've gone down to 87. Still pushing ever closer. And you can join this list of people. It's only 99 pence. There's lots of perks to enjoy, including the members only video I spoke about earlier. And that latest one is a proper popcorn video as well. Someone pointed out in the chat yesterday. Yeah, 1 hour and 6 minutes. Just one of the perks. You'll get early viewings on a lot of the content. More exclusive stuff like static emojis. Check it out. Just 99 pence. You know, let's say hello to you all in the chat. There we go. That's another thing I need to keep my eye on, is the chat was freezing a little yesterday, so I'm doing my best to keep up with all of these technical nigglings. Andy Carter, welcome to the stream, and also thank you for joining us with a bang and a gifted membership. Excellent support, as always. Thanks for your continued Solidari-Tea on the channel. How are you brewing tonight? Is that... oh, there's no name. Shakes fist. It's a conspirator. They don't want us to get 200 members. Oh, looks like... yeah, I think you're right there with that call, Andy. But I do appreciate the generosity nonetheless. That's, of course, out of your hands and mine. I know that you prefer to gift memberships as well, as it helps to grow the community, as well as sustain the channel. And while that is a technical problem, it's not a technical problem on my end, so it doesn't give me an excuse to play the technical problem video, which I hope you're all, you know, taking nicely to. And Andy, if you weren't on yesterday's stream, by the way, and I can see a few other potential culprits in the chat, I really would like your feedback on the latest feature, which I'm going to be announcing in just one moment. Something interactive, something that people who like a good tea-based pun can really get the tea bags into, you know what I mean? Their tea into. See, they just write themselves at this point. Speaking of writing, or perhaps composing, a bit of a hint as to what that might be about. And good to see you've already got a brew on the go, Andy. There are more votes from viewers. Have people been sneaking in from other streams to illegally vote? Do we need a purge? Good points. This is like some sort of despot, you know, election in Africa or something. Was it Zimbabwe? Was it Mugabe? Was it Mugabe who got something like 70% more votes than the entire population of the country? Or Putin, when they have, you know, air quotes, elections in Russia? Got 100% of the vote. Got 170% of the vote. Wow, that really is something. So anyone who wasn't there last night, so this is, I guess we are opening with a comedy clip, but it's also tied in with a feature launch, something I hope that you'll get interactive with. I'll explain more about that after I play. Oh, it does tickle me, this. Right, I hope you'll like this. Here we go. Get your puns ready, people.
Do you like a hot, tasty beverage with your music? Then my left eye has got a treat for your ears. The Brews at 10, the album, all your favourite beverage-based hits from the 1960s to now, all in one place. Volume 1 is now available, featuring
Love Me Brew, The Beatles, Virtual Insanity, Jamiroquai, Knowing Tea, Knowing You, ABBA, Tears Don't Fall, Brew It For My Valentine, and The Power of Love by Brewy Lewis and the Brews. Order now.
Okay, people. Sorry about the delay in coming back to you there. I was just messing about with the microphone. How are you liking that? What are you thinking about that one, people? So, what I need from you, people, are some more examples of the songs. Play around with titles of songs and artists. Had some other suggestions for Volume 2, and I'm going to be issuing a new volume every week. So there were 5 examples there. I'll actually just bring the clip back on to show the examples again. And how about that background music, people? That's another earworm for you on my left eye. Yeah. Okay.
Do you like
So, just skip through.
hits from the 1960s to now? All hits from the 1960s to now, all in one place. Volume 1 is now available, featuring
Love Me.
So there we go. We got Love Me Brew by the Beatles, Virtual Insanity by Jamiroquai, of course, Knowing Tea, Knowing You by ABBA, Tears Don't Fall, Brew It For My Valentine, and The Power of Love, Brewy Lewis and the Brews. So I'd love your feedback, people. Let me know if you've got any suggestions. So yesterday there was a bit of a sneak preview of this, as I said. Tragedy by the BTs. That was a suggestion. I think that was Odin Allfather. I've got a few others myself, but I'm not going to reveal them here. We do have one in the chat though already. Let's see what you're saying, people. Hey there, Delilah by the Plain White Teas. Let's see what you're doing. Let's see what you're doing. Just making notes of that. Hey there. Oh, it's that one. It's that What You Do To Me in the chorus, isn't it? Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City? That one. Yeah. Okay, just making a note of that one. Excellent stuff there, Andy. You can always rely on you for a tea-based pun. Amy Mallett's itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini. That's an interesting one. That was a cover though. I think that was a 60s one originally, was it? Like sort of, you know, the surf sound era in the States. I don't know. I'm nowhere near that old. So I'll make a note of that one. I'll just write. I'll just write Timmy Mallet. I'll know where that one's going. Thank you very much for your contributions so far. Clive. Excellent stuff. Good advice there as well, Flow Snake. Don't forget to like, as well as vote in the poll. Have we got more votes than we've got likes so far? Have more people voted in the poll than the entire population of planet Earth? Who knows? Who knows what could happen? Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones. Oh, that's pushing it a bit, Andy. I'm still making a note of it though. Okay, keep me posted on that one. I'll try and monitor the chat as much as possible. As always, got EQ levels and other things to keep my eye on. I've got a naughty broadcast software. Tisk tisk. Tea flies when you're the driver of a train by half dunking biscuit. Wow. Slightly long-winded story. When I was at college, one of my tutors told us that he was actually related to someone who was in Half Man, Half Biscuit. I can't remember what relation it was. Maybe it was actually them. They were actually in Half Man, Half Dunking. Well, Half Man, Half Biscuit. Like the adaptation on the name, the Flow Snake. That's a good one. I think they were around in the like late 80s, early 90s. I forgot to. I'm not at college anymore. So, okay. It's looking pretty close in the poll as well so far. You do get to find out the scores once you've voted, but I will remind everybody at the end as well. I'll do my best to remember. I think the last one I did, I forgot to announce it. And then literally, at the moment I pressed end stream on YouTube Studio, someone posted in the chat, they were like, what about the poll? Or I had to come back on the mic quickly. I can't remember. Quality streaming, people. Do you know how difficult it is to train a monkey to do basic IT repairs and problem solving? Green Tea by Brooker Tea. I'll be skimming through the chat for these after the stream's finished as well, in case I miss any. Keep them coming, people. We have a doctor in the house as well. Nice to see you, Doc Davies. I've been yapping on for far too long, people. Nearly half a bloody hour now. Let's get into some stories. Did you know this was a channel about politics and society from a left-wing perspective, by the way? People waded in, go, what in the bloody hell is this? It's not exactly, you know, it's better than Laura Kussenberg. Don't bitch. Right, first story. Speaking of bitches, Donald Trump. has threatened China with a further 50% tariff on top. That's on top. Bonus round, bonus tariffs, people, of the 34% that he put on them just days ago. Everyone else around the world's going absolutely nuts. Stock markets are taking a tumble. Everywhere. The worst fall since the pandemic. I can actually take this opportunity now. Just going to load up the screen. I mentioned a technical difficulty on yesterday's stream. The mic was cut out for some time. So I'll summarise what I was saying there, because it still rings true today with what's happened. You see crashes like this about every sort of 10 or 15 years. Well, not like this, but you see crashes every 10, 15 years. At this time, though, and there's the membership goal, by the way, 87 out of 100. This time, though, the USA doesn't have the reassurance that it's got the currency that the world falls back upon, that it relies upon. There are other things going on in the world. The development of BRICS, you're seeing obviously China and India try and move away from the dollar. And they've had such a tight grip on this throughout history, the United States, that is, the sense of exceptionalism, because they know at the end of the day, or they think they know, that people will use their currency when the shit hits the fan. But not this time. And it's all well and good, you know, it's easy to point and laugh and say, I told you so, as soon as he got back in, the stock market crash, and he's gonna, you know, these aren't the sort of things that I like to have the bragging rights over, because of how all-encompassing they are, you know, when you look at how much of a grip capitalism itself has on people. With this come people's livelihoods and jobs and whatnot that are going to go with it. So it's not just, you know, millions or billions being wiped off the value of wealthy people's stock portfolios. It's also going to be redundancies and everything else that comes with it. Perhaps the collapse of almost entire industries. Just trying to move this screen around. Bear with me. It's not gripping the. Yes. I've tried closing it and opening it again. Before anybody asks. Yeah, so you don't want the bragging rights about collapses like this. If this goes so far as a run on the banks, then it could get exponentially worse. Previous historical crashes, you know, have seen indexes drop in the 20s of percents. This time it's in the tens. Not quite as bad, but still severely bad. Riders on the storm in a teacup. That's a good one. That's a good one. $1 will be worth a dime in a few weeks. Well, that is it. You know, whether if you're lucky enough to have anything put aside, whether that's in a savings account or whether it's stuffed under your mattress or up your chimney, wherever, then the value of that is going to go down. Inflation. This isn't going to help with inflation. Not by sight. Right, it's just going to have to stay there for now. I don't know why that's not. You can just about read it. This is OBS again, people. Just go over some of the finer latest points anyway. It's not going to be too in-depth. Oh, look at this. $5 trillion. $5 trillion. With a T. 3.9 trillion. So we've got roughly a 2 trillion economy. That's like double the value of the GDP of the UK in just like days. It's also roughly would be the GDP of the average American state, average sized American state, or whatnot. Been very hot and loose with comparisons there. Please don't. No, do comment if you have any gripes with that. It does help out on the algorithm nonetheless. So also, people, going back to the new pun interactive game that I've launched. One way of helping me keep up with your suggestions, if you have the means to do so, while you're watching live, please do put it in the comments as well. I'll be going through the comments. Obviously, do appreciate you all joining the chat. It's very rare that someone actually comments on a live stream, though if I'm being honest, people, that does help out with the algorithm. I've seen a few, and I do genuinely appreciate that. But if you do have the means right now, please do post your suggestions in the chat. In the comments. Right, we'll start again. Good evening, I'm Lefty. You're listening to the Brews at 10 on my left eye. No. Back to the collapse. Past the big tissues again. Tesla shares have slumped 2.6%. Can anyone else hear a small violin in the background? While Apple were down 3.7%. Of course, Apple founder Steve Jobs never gave a penny to charity in his entire life. And died of cancer because he thought that he refused medicine and thought that he could beat it with just sheer willpower. From bad to worse, and there's been a debate today about whether Trump did or didn't imply that there would be a 90-day pause. Someone went on mainstream media in America and sort of announced that there'd be a 90-day pause. At that point, some of the markets started to rise again, and then when Trump called it fake news, they were back down again. I'm going to take the screen off now. Sorry about the technical problem there. I guess that does technically give me an excuse to play this.
As you can see, we're experiencing a minor technical difficulty here on my left eye. Our team of expertly trained technicians are working busily to restore the stream. In the meantime, please make sure that you've hit the thumbs up button harder than you'd like to hit Keir Starmer in the Ghoulies, and left a comment down below. Thank you.
Okay, that was actually pretty ironic, people, and I think I've got to the nucleus of the problem. As soon as I turn my microphone back up at the end of that clip, it stopped working. I'm not playing the technical difficulties clip again though. But I've noticed a correlation between that happening. I don't know if you have as well. I mean, when I'm speaking to you like I am now, it doesn't cut off partway through a sentence. No, it doesn't cut off partway through a sentence. It happens after I've played a clip, or I've turned the microphone down while something's playing, so you can't hear me giggling or whatnot over the top of it. And yeah, that just keeps happening, so I don't know why. You turn it down, turn it back up, and I'm talking on the mixer. It's bizarre, it's bizarre. So I'm just going to have to leave it cranked up, and you might hear the odd cough or whatnot. So apologies, but it's rather that than cut the entire sound off. Yeah, we'll laugh about this someday, you know. Do you remember when I had the microphone that didn't work and blah blah blah? I'd need a bit more processing power and stuff, people. We'll be upgrading. And the generous contributions from your memberships do go towards that. So thanks once again, people. We'll talk rubbish soon, if you know what I mean. But just while we're on there, just quickly, whilst we're over in the States, on the subject of my latest video which came out earlier today, please do check it out. Elon Musk going to be clamping down on parody accounts. That's on Twitter. Always Twitter, never X. From the 10th, so that's in 3 days. Fake or parody at the start of their names. So they'll have to use different images to the X accounts. I mean, just what a, you know, social media has developed since their incarnation, I guess, to various dumpster fires in many cases. The aforementioned platform, Twitter, being one of them, especially since Musk took over. But one of the better things about them, for me, that I personally enjoy, is the parody accounts. There's a few that I follow, not just Elon Musk. The parody Laura Kusenberg one is particularly good. Parody Trump as well, of course. Parody Keir Starmer. You know, it's no form of what's the word I'm looking for? They're not stealing intellectual property. They're not, you know, breaching copyright. It's not imitation. It's not a con. It's not an attempt to convince people that it is their real account. They're very clear about them being a parody. It's got parody in the fucking name, and generally the avatars will have some sort of comedy tweak to them so that you can tell it's not them. Alright? You'd have to have the IQ of a pineapple to think that they were actually the real person. Clive, Ram is always good by Paul McCartney. Ram. That was a Wings album, I think, was it? I know a thing or two about the classics. I'm well read in certain areas. Yeah. Keep those suggestions coming. So now he's just so touchy, isn't he? It's, you know, ooh. He scrolls through his own platform all day and all night, not doing any fucking work. He's certainly not coming up with ideas for any of his, you know, so-called innovative companies. Tesla and Space. The only things that they have achieved have been off the backs of the hard work of other people, not him. And you can directly correlate the things that go wrong to his interventions or suggestions. And I won't go into all the technical reasons why. Like I said before, other YouTubers do a lot more stuff about Musk than even I do, and go into a lot more detail. Particularly Thunderfoot, who's an excellent engineer, explains why the Cybertruck's a load of shit. James Holmes, thanks for attempting a gifted membership. Unfortunately, again, it appears that hasn't gone through, but thanks for the attempt at support nonetheless. So we're still stuck on 87. That's the second time that's happened during the stream. It just so happens to have happened at the same time I was throwing shade at Elon Musk. Now, does anyone reckon that that's some sort of conspiracy theory? It's like our Terry says, you know, they're always watching, they're always listening. You got your phone here, right? You got your phone here. It's always listening. Spaceman by Babylon Brew. Yeah, I wasn't laughing at my own little bit there. Good suggestion, Andy. Spaceman by Babylon Brew. Oh, it's going to be difficult to choose. I'm going to have to narrow it down to 5, but we've probably got a few volumes worth just in this stream alone. I'm trying to write down as many as I can, but like I said, I'll be going back over the stream and the comments for your suggestions. We'll keep that going. We'll keep that going. Let me know what you think about this Musk thing. What's your favourite parody account? Let me know in the chat or in the comments. If I don't follow them already, I might check them out as well. I noticed the stream was a bit lagging there as well. I'm trying to keep my eye on it, people. I'm working on it. I'm working hard for you, people. We'll leave that there for now. Please check out the vid that I put out before. Had to rush through that one as well. I've set you off there now, haven't I, Andy? Okay, background music. Let's bring that back up. Didn't even notice that had stopped, to be honest. What's going on? There we go. Moving onward. We're going to talk rubbish, which some people would argue happens on every live stream. So yes, Birmingham. Rubbish. I don't mean Birmingham is rubbish. You know, this stuff just writes itself as well. What in the piss is going on? I know why it is. Dickhead. Had it fucking locked. Oh, apologies. It were my fault. It fucking locked. Right. The stench is thick in the air, says the unfortunate reporter there. You show up. All the, you know, the BBC reporters, well, they probably don't show up. They'll get a call or whatever. However they find out what they're reporting on the next day. It's like, guess who struck it lucky? It's this guy. And this really is a sensitive and developing story, so you're going to be there for quite a while, keeping us abreast with the latest developments. No, you're going to have to get, for the shot that we need, no, can you just get closer to the garbage, please, for the shot? And he can probably barely do the reports. We're almost throwing up. Rats the size of rhinos. Well, they said it was rats the size of cats, didn't they? That was the famous quote. So the queues are a mile long for the tips. We were going through this a little. I say we redirected, raided into. Where did we redirect? Was it Kevin Logan the other day? He's had a lot to say about this, being from Birmingham himself. So there's still no resolution. The dispute, of course, is between the Unite Union over pay and the government, powers that be. But one member of Parliament has called for the army to be deployed. Speaking in the House of Commons, Ayub Khan, who's independent MP for Birmingham Perry Bar, asked whether the asked whether the army could be used to assist the local charities. I didn't miss that one there, and organisations that were trying to clear some of the rubbish. Local Government Minister Jim McMahon said in response that the government wanted a substantial deal that can hold, including one that did not stray into potentially compromising the equal pay settlement, blah blah blah. 1 billion would be the cost of the local authority. Just fucking pay them. Just pay them. You know, look what happens when you take people for granted. Their work is essential. It might not be particularly glamorous, but it is essential. And if it weren't for these people, then there would literally, and is, rubbish piled up in the street. Sending the dusty bins. Yeah. And where is Jess Phillips? Has she fallen off the face of the planet? Is she hiding in a fucking fridge? No word from her. She's losing a seat in the next general election anyway. And you can bet your bollocks to a barn dance that Labour are going to take an absolute walloping now in the locals, which are coming up just weeks away. I packed my family car with rubbish, says another resident there. That's Maqsood Altaf, and he's filled his family car up, including the wheelie bin, before he went to the tip in Billersley. He's seen dead rats outside his house. They've not been collected either. Of course, if your bins aren't being collected, the dead, you know. Luckily, the dead rat service is still running. No. Some of the local residents have said, it's like we live in a third world country. A resident told the BBC, that's David Lum, who was reporting, I mentioned before. Unfortunately, this is Just Stop Oil have normally joking, it's more of the workers there. I was going to say they've chained themselves to the fence. I say it there. Wink wink. No, wasn't us, wasn't me. So the talks ended around 4:15 earlier without an agreement again. So on it goes. Are you in or close to Birmingham at the moment? Can you smell the stench from where you are? Describe it to us in the chat or in the comments section if you're watching back on a replay, people. I can imagine it, you know, if you do go to a refuse centre or the tip or your recycling centre, whatever it might be, yeah. Just take that and probably multiply it by 100. With a hint of rat, size of cats. One of the rats twatted the shit out of my bulldog, said another local resident. No, I made that one up. I made that one up. Right, okay, people. Be back with you in just one moment. I'm going to leave you with the funky music. Just for a moment or two, don't worry. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, they're them and comrades alike, we're going to move on to Gaza now. Not literally, of course. Unfortunately, there's a high risk that we'd get killed and or injured. Yeah, obviously that's dark humour though. This is serious, and the latest story that's exposed Israel's chicanery and lies and deception and propaganda is, of course, this ambulance convoy, and there have been some more developments about that. Please do throw up the Palestine flags in the chat and in the comments. As always, we show support with Gaza and with all of Palestine here on My Left Eye. So this, of course, was terrible. The IDF fired upon a legitimate ambulance convoy claiming that Hamas were in the ambulances. There's been a claim from the IDF that the ambulances look suspicious because they didn't have their emergency lights on or the headlights or anything. Video evidence has contradicted that, as well as the testimony from the sole survivor of the attack, and that has been so obvious that even the mainstream media have been alert to this. And I could hardly believe my ears earlier today, people. It was an excerpt from I think it was a Radio 4 interview this morning with one of the as always abhorrent Israeli spokes, and it was the usual blah blah blah. Your ambulance is made of Hamas. There were Hamas in the ambulance, and even the presenter was pointing out, well, you know, you can't prove that, and even if there were, that's still no legitimate excuse, because attacking medical staff is, of course, a war crime. Targeting medical vehicles is a war crime. Pretty sure even if someone in Hamas is in a fucking ambulance, then they're pretty much in no state to cause any bother to the IDF. Because, for a start, they're strapped to a fucking stretcher in a fucking ambulance. So what are they going to do in that situation? But no, that's not good enough. In usual warfare, and obviously I'm an advocate for peace, but usually in warfare, if you've taken someone off the battlefield, it's known as a casualty, whether they're injured or dead, then they're out of the game. They're out of the so-called game. You know, war is a game to some people, certainly the millionaires. Probably not the best turn of phrase for me to use there. But you see what I'm saying. They're out of the situation. But that's not enough. No, it's... They think that... that's actually, you know, I've never thought about looking at it this way before. But Israelis treat Palestinians, obviously not as though they are human beings. We're more than aware of that. They're very open about that. They've said things about that. But they treat them as though it's the zombie apocalypse. That's how disgustingly fascistic the sort of mindset is. And yes, Andy, that in itself is also a war crime. Because that's it. Even, you know, you hear stories from veterans, or you see old footage, or even from the world wars, about, you know, very famous battles. We're talking about D-Day, or things like the Battle of the Somme, and this, that, and the other. And there'll always be one guy who will come on and will say that they got off of the landing craft, or whatever situation it was, and straight away they took a bullet in the foot, or maybe, you know, in the shoulder, and they recovered and whatnot, and they were out of it straight away, and lived to tell the tale, which unfortunately many don't in that situation. But that being the case, you know, even the worst propaganda, even the worst made-up propaganda couldn't describe what Israel are actually doing to people. So the clip I'm going to use is from Sky. And if even the likes of Sky and the BBC absolutely hammering Israel over this, then you know it's bad. You know it's bad, because you know what the bias is normally like, right people. Absolutely you do. We'll take a look at this. This is a bit more like it. You know, I'm still very critical of the mainstream media in general. Don't think I've changed my tune on that, people. Just go back over to the clips. Let's put the membership goal back up. Okay.
Well, new video has emerged this morning of the killing of humanitarian workers in Gaza that contradicts the Israeli military's version of the strike on an aid convoy. The footage, obtained by the New York Times and verified by Sky News, was discovered on the mobile phone of a paramedic who was found along with 14 other people in a mass grave. It shows that the ambulances and fire truck that they were travelling in were clearly marked and had their emergency lights on when Israeli troops hit them with gunfire.
So yes, it's as clear as day. Even Sky News can't deny this. Even BBC can't interrupt and say, oh well, Israel will deny that. It's there. And as long as you've got eyes, then you can see. If that's not a lit up ambulance, then I'll eat my hat. Or put a hat on and then I'll eat it.
Israel originally said the vehicles were advancing suspiciously without headlights or emergency signals.
And that's another thing. Israel spokes believe that words are magic. They believe that the right combination is essentially a magic spell. And you can say things like acting suspiciously. Now what the fuck does that mean? How can an ambulance act suspiciously. Oh, that's a suspicious looking ambulance there. You know, real shifty looking thing, isn't it? How does an ambulance look dodgy, shifty, suspicious? It's a bit sus, that fucking ambulance there, isn't it? And also tried to say that they didn't officially liaise or something with the IDF, as though, you know, every single emergency vehicle has to liaise with the IDF, does it? Or it'll get blown up because it's made of Hamas. Your kid's face is made of Hamas. This school, the bricks, the mortar, they're members of Hamas. Bullshit.
Well, our Middle East correspondent Alistair Bunkle joins us now live from Jerusalem. So, Alistair, has there been a change in what the Israelis have said about what happened here?
We are
No, they're still lying through their teeth on a daily basis.
still awaiting a statement from the Israeli military. I understand one is being worked on now and will be issued later today. But the video obtained by the New York Times, part of which you just saw, was taken from the body of one of those medics killed and was filmed on his mobile phone.
Quickly want to say, quite right, Andy, in the chat, about David Manser. He's probably my equal most alongside Zippy Hotovely, whatever her bastard name is. She's an absolute fucking disgrace. They both are. The one that was on the clip that I mentioned earlier was bad. Not quite as bad as those two. But still made my piss simmer.
Now, this incident happened shortly before dawn on the 23rd of March. A convoy of Palestinian Red Crescent ambulances and one fire truck was travelling on a road just north of the town of Rafah, which is in the south of the Gaza Strip, and they were going to look for colleagues of theirs that had gone missing. And they see a car that had diverted onto the side of the road. They then pull over too, and contact was lost with them shortly before 7 o'clock that morning. It was 5 days before their bodies could be recovered, and they were found buried under the sand in a mass grave. Now, the Israeli military initially said in a very confident statement that they did not, in their words, randomly attack these vehicles, and they blamed the vehicles for not having coordinated their movements with the...
Well, I certainly believe the first part of that. That's actually true, which is like rocking horse shit when Israeli statements are concerned, but it certainly wasn't a random attack. Because they do target, they specifically target ambulances, they specifically target children, they specifically target journalists, they specifically target hospitals.
The IDF, saying that it was an operational zone. Investigations by our own data and forensics team suggest that it was not an operational zone at that moment, and actually evacuation orders for that area were only issued an hour after last contact was heard with the Red Crescent vehicles. The IDF also, and this is the crucial bit in relation to this video, said that those ambulances were travelling without their lights on and without any sign of them being emergency vehicles.
How can you not know an ambulance when you see one, even if it doesn't have its lights on? Even if it doesn't have its headlights on, it has reflective material on all sides of the van. It will probably say in large lettering on the van, ambulance. Hey y'all, this is a fucking ambulance. Move out of the way. It's on its way to an emergency. The same with fire engines. You don't not know when a fire engine is behind you, or an ambulance, or a police vehicle on the way to an emergency, and whether they have the lights on and not, how can you not identify that as an ambulance? And you know, it's beyond shoot first, ask questions later. It's just shoot, 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 and don't ask any questions, but tell plenty of lies. The cycle goes: deny that it happened. Eventually, they'll have to admit that it did happen, but then they'll blame Hamas when it becomes obvious that it wasn't Hamas. They'll then start to just throw accusations of anti-Semitism around the place and the usual whatnot, at the same time as saying that they're going to investigate the thing themselves and mark their own homework yet again. Repeat, repeat, repeat. How dumb did it's so bad because it's obviously, you've seen these atrocities, but what really rams it home at the same time is that they expect that people are so stupid that they'll fall for what they're saying. And it's almost too much to take. It's almost too much to take. Yeah, Elon Levy, yeah. Okay. Let me know what you think about that in the chat, in the comments. Make sure you hit thumbs up on the stream, people. It's your periodic reminder. And that brings me on to something else you might have heard about today. Netanyahu's been on his travels recently, hasn't he? He was in Hungary, which is a signatory to the ICC. He didn't get arrested there. Boo, boo, Hungary. Speaking of which, today he's been off to the United States of America to meet Trump. As well as Israel being absent from that list of tariffs, as well as Russia, I didn't notice Israel on it either, so pretty easy trip for him. But this is the flight data. This is the actual flight data from his plane. And it goes over several countries, but also Italy and France, which are both signatories to the ICC as well, of course, bordering one another to the north via the Alps, as you can see there. So Italy should have had planes in the air, France should have had planes in the air. Excuse me, you've got to land, you transporting an international war criminal. You are officially in Italian or France airspace. Land your ass now. Land your ass now. This guy's going to jail. Didn't see that happening. Who's going to have the balls? Come on, somebody's got to step up and do this. Really. Otherwise, it just rides roughshod over international law. What's the point of international law? What's the point of institutions like the ICC or the United Nations? Oh yes, they'll put out a lot of finely dressed words, very pertinent statements. I've referred to them on several occasions, yes or yes. But where's the actual action to follow it up? were Interpol, do they just exist in Ocean's 11 films and things like that? In fiction? James Bond, where are you when we need you? Where are you? Oh, he got blown up in the last one, didn't he? Sorry, spoiler alert. He did. Okay. What do you think about this, though? Obviously, then it goes over the Atlantic Ocean, and then he's safe. As soon as he lands in America, he's going to be met with open arms. God knows how else Trump meets foreign dignitaries when the cameras are off. Probably don't even want to know. Imagine if Luigi showed up to his meeting with Trump, Luigi Mangione. Yeah. I don't think I've actually managed to cram in many updates about him recently. Apologies. The latest thing was, of course, there's still a big push for him to receive the death penalty. If he's found guilty, of course, these are just allegations at the moment. I've been pretty tight-lipped on streams and in my content about this. But I'd like to see all the evidence. I want to see what the defence are going to throw up, you know. Other than CCTV footage of himself on the day that he was arrested, what is it that actually connects him to this thing? Because you look at the footage, and that person could be almost anyone. So I want to find out more about the trail of evidence and this sort of thing. What I'm, summarily put, I have my doubts that he's even guilty, and that's before you get into the ins and outs of whether his actions were morally justified, and they might. Well, a lot's been said on social media. That's certainly not something I'm encouraging. I hope to be very clear on that. Some sort of collective uprising and whatnot. Right, I need an interruption. Floor Snake, that's an excellent suggestion. RESPECT. Yeah. Aretha Franklin. Find out what it means to me. Sip it to me, sip it to me. They sing in the background. Sip it to me. Anyway, good one. Very good one. So yeah, get your shit together, Hungary. Get your shit together, France, and get your shit together, Italia. The UK had an actual spy named James Bond stationed in Poland in the 1960s. He didn't last there long. That does ring a bell. I believe, well, it's widely thought that James Bond, the character of James Bond, a lot of him was actually based on Christopher Lee, who played Saruman in The Lord of the Rings and Dracula and lots of other famous roles, The Wicker Man. You could name loads of films. He was actually the only member of the cast of Lord of the Rings who met Christopher Tolkien. He was a war veteran himself, multilingual, spoke about 6 or 7 languages, very talented, very skilled man, hard as a nail in his youth. So yeah, I believe it's widely thought that it was based on Christopher Lee. Yeah. Oh, what was the other one? For the sci-fi fans, Count Dooku. Not that Dracula doesn't count as sci-fi, I guess. What else did he do? He had a fantastic career. He made a heavy metal album. He did collaboration. Did a collaboration with Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath. at one point, I believe. Very interesting man. I've never actually read his biography. I must buy it. I must get that. Doc, that one's already been used. That was in the clip. Brewy Lewis and the Brews, The Power of Love. Thanks for all your suggestions, though. Keep them coming in. So there'll be a new volume out, I guess, every Monday. I'll be reminding you about the ones that we've already had just shortly. We'll leave the James Bond, Christopher Lee stuff for now. Oh, one final thing on him just before we do go. I believe he was also the last person to witness execution by guillotine in France. Trivia-tastic stuff here on The Brews at 10. The more you watch, the more you learn. Hit that thumbs up button, people. And I mentioned a collaboration album just then. And if you're a fan of albums, then get a load of this, you lucky people.
Do you like a hot tasty beverage with your music? Then My Left Eye has got a treat for your ears. The Brews at 10, the album, all your favourite beverage-based hits from the 1960s to now, all in one place. Volume 1 is now available, featuring
Love Me Brew, The Beatles, Virtual Insanity, Jamiroquai, Knowing Tea, Knowing You, ABBA, Tears Don't Fall, Brew It for My Valentine, and The Power of Love by Brewy Lewis and the Brews.
Yeah, so we did have that one, the Brewy Lewis and the Brews. Great minds think alike, though, eh? I'm going to play that all the way through again in a minute. Pretty pleased with that one. Just something I threw out there. City Hall by Tenacious D. Funny you mention that one, actually, because I did use the SNL clip on yesterday's stream, although it had to be trimmed out, of course. I did get a suggestion up. He did a monologue, done one 20 years ago, I think he was saying, in the monologue, and then he went into a song about coming back, which was pretty good. That is Jack Black I'm referring to there, of Tenacious D. Kyle Gass is the other member there. Yeah, I think they've been going a while now, haven't they? Fun stuff though. Fun stuff. Super Tiny, thanks for joining us. What's this prediction? By 2030, Musk will have gone trans and be in jail with the lady who sold stuff she couldn't do. Who sold stuff she couldn't do. Interesting. Now let's have a look at the... Oh, it's tight. Nobody thinks that Musk will lose a lot of money to the extent that he'll only be a millionaire yet. And then it's as tight as gets for the other options. Yeah, sorry, that one wasn't an option on the ballot. Still better options than you get in any general election, eh? Eh? Am I right, people? Let's keep our spirits raised. This is a comedy clip I didn't have time for on yesterday's live stream. It's the latest from Matt Green. Do enjoy.
There's been a lot of talk about tariffs since President Trump made his announcement this week, but what does it all mean? Our economics, bar charts and squiggly lines correspondent Jonathan Goodenough has more. Yes, that's right, the world was shaken this week by Liberace Day. Liberation Day? That does make more sense, but then why all the makeup? Jonathan, Donald Trump announced these tariffs by pointing to rows of numbers on coloured boards, a bit like a game show host from the 1980s, which in a sane world would be the height of his achievement. Sorry, carry on. So the big question is, what are these tariffs based on? Trump's boards of doom seem to say that each tariff was set at about half what that country charges American firms, which sounds fair enough. But was that actually true? Of course not. They're actually related to the trade deficit. What's a trade deficit? Well, basically, it's the balance of how much stuff the US buys and sells. Right? Think about it like this. If I buy some fruit from a greengrocer's, but they don't buy any television reporting from me, then I'm in a trade deficit with that greengrocer's. Okay? And Trump's tariffs are a bit like me charging them extra to sell me the fruit, to try and encourage me to grow my own fruit, or perhaps to encourage them to develop a taste for commissioning vox pops. That sounds a bit simplistic. Believe me, it's not as simplistic as Trump's calculations. In what way? The numbers basically make no sense, because even countries with a trade surplus, no significant trade, or even no human residents have been slapped with tariffs seemingly at random. Really? Yes, in fact, if you took the number of times President Trump's played golf in that country, then multiplied it by the number of times he's tweeted about it, then added the number of burgers he's had that day, and divided it by the number of presents he got from their Prime Minister, you're just about as likely to come up with an accurate figure. The Trump administration has called them reciprocal tariffs. What does that mean? Well, it's meant to be about matching the level of tariff that the other side applies, but in this case it's more like punching someone in the head after they've sold you some fruit, then punching yourself in the head and claiming that's a reciprocal relationship. Are you okay? I'm not allowed in that greengrocer's anymore. Markets have fallen sharply since the move, haven't they? Yes, all across the world, highly paid market analysts have been completely taken by surprise by the fact that Donald Trump did the thing he's repeatedly said he's going to do for years. Then why were they surprised? They thought he would never do something quite so stupid, which really suggests they haven't been paying attention. How has Trump reacted to the markets? He's telling people to stay calm and trust in the process, like an amateur bungee jump operator who smells of vodka. His supporters have also started calling the markets woke or left-wing, which has a familiar ring to it for people who remember Brexit or Liz Truss. So is this tariff strategy really as mad as some people are saying? Well, that depends on your perspective. From an economic point of view, it will almost certainly cause a recession and possibly even a depression, and it will devastate the lives of people all around the world, particularly in poorer countries, who surprisingly don't buy much stuff from richer ones. Right. But as a strategy of dominance and power, it may be effective. Trump is expecting countries and businesses to come crawling to him for exceptions and carve-outs, and there's nothing that Trump loves more than watching people beg. Speaking of which, how did Britain do? Well, as the UK actually has a trade surplus with the US, it was only hit with a 10% base tariff, which was hailed as a massive success for Keir Starmer's diplomacy, Brexit freedoms, or the special relationship, depending on your point of view. And which point of view is right? Probably none of them, but it won't stop anyone taking the credit. Thank you, Jonathan. Next up, as the tax year draws to a close, we ask, where are the best places for you to hold your new tax year's party? And how much silly string can you put on expenses?
Yes, Matt Green there. Great take on that. Just pausing this for a bit of a plug. You can see he's got some live stand-up dates if you want to check him out live. I do use his clips quite a lot, so do want to continue giving him props if you're close to any of these places. I hope you can read them all. Leicester, Northampton, Bristol, Edinburgh, Newcastle, York, London, Birmingham, Manchester, Milton Keynes, Taunton, Southend-on-Sea, Cambridge, Southampton, Leeds, Liverpool, Guildford and Brighton. Hope you got all those. If you're close, I'm not going to read out the venues, but do check him out. See, he's going to be in Manchester, so Sunday the 2nd. Sorry, Matt, I've got a commitment to my wonderful live stream audience on Sundays. Bit tricky for me. Frog and Bucket as well. Good venue. A friend of mine who's a stand-up does some stuff there as well, and I've seen other comedians. Great venue if you were ever in Manchester. If you're from Manchester, I'm sure you're familiar with Frog and Bucket, so go and check out Matt Green at one of those venues. Oh, bloody hell, that was loud. Sorry. Just woke you all up. Wakey, wakey, people. It's only 11:30 at night, you know. Where did all this stem from, though? This situation? How did we get here in the first place? It's dystopia.
Oliver Twist! Geoffrey Dickens! Back to Victorian values! I hope you're satisfied, Thatcher!
Ah, yes. The deregulation, wasn't it? You go back far enough, it's generally always to blame. It's not even that far back into recent history. Let's think here. 35 years ago she left. So... no, she's no longer with us at all. Oh, what a shame. Go for a 24-hour stream. There's no way that the equipment that I use could last 24 hours. If I put 24 hours worth of content into OBS, the version that I've got with the processors that I've got, it would have a stroke, it would have a meltdown. Well, there's shouts for it. There's shouts for it now in the chat. You know, I like to keep my audience happy. I'd only do it if you join me in listening for 25 hours straight. By my immediate calculations, I guess I could get at least potentially 25 hours of watch time. Actually, though, on that topic, I still do have a discrepancy issue. So if you're not familiar with how you work streams on YouTube and stuff, basically when you're streaming, you have your YouTube Studio as well as your broadcast software. On YouTube Studio, when you click End Stream, that's like when it's all over, basically, when the video ends. You get some of the stats come up automatically, how many watch hours you've got, how many viewers that you had, this sort of thing. And I do have to take a screenshot or a picture of the screen, depending on the circumstances, every time, and have been doing so for a while now. Because after the video is processed, this is days and days down the line, when I review analytics, only a small percentage of the views and watch time that is registered is actually there in your YouTube analytics when you go back and look. So I've got this massive discrepancy at the moment. And essentially I know that the numbers are wrong, because in some cases it indicates that say there have been less people on the stream than there are in the chat right now, and I know that you're here because you're there and you're posting in the chat, and you've all at least watched some part of the stream. So there you go. 23 hours of tangent warning. Well, that could kill a few hours, couldn't it? If you just get me onto the right topics. Who knows, it could catch on. Right, people, just one last plug for the album, I think, and then I'll be calling it a night here on My Left Eye. Do stick around though, because it's going to be redirecting into another stream.
Like a hot tasty beverage with your music? Then My Left Eye has got a treat for your ears. The Brews at 10, the album, all your favourite beverage-based hits from the 1960s
Music's
to now,
catchy,
all in one place. Volume 1 is now available, featuring
Love Me Brew, The Beatles, Virtual Insanity, Jamiroquai, Knowing Tea, Knowing You, ABBA, Tears Don't Fall, Brew It For My Valentine, and The Power of Love by Brewy Lewis and the Brews. Order now.
Thanks to those of you who tried to gift memberships on tonight's channel, people. As I say, thanks once again to the members before we leave. You're always guaranteed to get plenty of shout-outs on the channel if you sign up for just 99p. So yeah, there were a couple of you that did attempt. Perhaps YouTube does see me as a threat. I don't know why. I'm trying to get the channel out there, and thus YouTube itself. You know, like I said, this is the only medium that you can find me on, exclusive to YouTube. I do have a Twitch account, but I don't really have. I don't really have the technical means to do simultaneous with Twitch at the moment. Well, that's upcoming. That's the future goals of the channel. T-Rex, that's such an obvious one. Now you think about it, Clive, anything by T-Rex would do. I mean, you've got the entire back catalogue there. Well, have at it, yeah. Children of Tea Revolution. How's that one sitting with you? Children of Tea Revolution. Super Tiny, thanks for the gifted membership. Asterix. Pending. Doesn't look like it's gone through. We'll find out the next time someone comments. Like this. No, it appears that one hasn't gone through. Oh, sorry, but thanks anyway, Super Tiny. Do appreciate the effort. You can always use Super Chat or Super Thanks in lieu of gifted memberships not working. I know some of you prefer to use gifted memberships because it grows the community as well as supporting the channel. Thanks again to everybody for all your contributions. Let's see who's live streaming. What have I started? It started off as a simple pun here, and now look at it. I've toyed with the idea of putting the album video on general YouTube release to see if we can perhaps take this further, people. I want to know what you think about that as well. I've not forgotten about the poll, by the way, speaking of getting your opinions. All will be revealed after I set up the live stream, which is going to be with Helena at No Justice, so join me there, and make sure you give a thumbs up on the stream when you do so. Great stuff from Helena. So we're going to end the poll now, and it's 50-50, straight down the middle. So half of you think no, half of you think yes, just he'll either still be a billionaire or he'll lose it all. No one thinks that he's going to lose a significant amount but still be worth millions. Thanks a lot for your contributions. I guess we'll find out in 5 years if that's still going. If I'm still live streaming then, I'll say, hey people, and it'll be on January 1st. On January 1st, 2030. The estimated net worth of Elon Musk. Potentially the late Elon Musk, who knows? Lifestyle habits ending, but that's I'll save that one for 2030. I'll have to try and make a note of that. I hope you're going to remember, because I sure as shit might not do. I'm joking. No, that will be on my mind for the next few years. Right then, so that's it for another Brews at 10 here on My Left Eye. I've been your host Lefty. You've been fantastic. Appreciate all your input in the chat. Really hope that you'll come and join us over with Helena at No Justice at the end of this stream. But if not, keep Take care, people. My Left Eye will be seeing you soon. Free Palestine and power to the people.